Okay, all right. It appears we are live here. Geek Talk today. We have Danny Walsh in the house. We also have with us Madison Doherty, Tipton, and Andrea Peer is on her cell phone. She will be joining us live here in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Just want to say here, well, let me check to see if we are live, at least in one of our groups here. Let me see. We are now live in the Geek Out group, so we should be doing good there. Just want to let you know. So if you're watching replay, watching live, you know what to do. Hashtag replay, hashtag live. Make sure you let us know where you live, what your social security number is, your blood type, all those things. We need all that important information in order for you to view the show today. And then also, if you are a geek type person, if you know even 5% more than somebody else about something geeky and you want to be on the show here, you want to be able to teach some people some stuff, maybe get a couple extra eyeballs, just let me know. Hit me up in DM on Facebook because we're always looking for people to jump on the show with us. And then, oh yeah, after this here, we're going to, for the next 4 weeks, we're going to do a little experiment. We're going to have open office hours for ClickFunnels questions. So I'll be dropping the link right before what'll be 4 p.m. Eastern time, Zoom link. If you want to jump on Zoom, ask some ClickFunnels questions. Like I said, we're going to do it for like 4 weeks. We're going to see what the results are. If nobody jumps on, well, then I'll spend my time doing something else. But just we're putting that out there for people just to see, if it works or not. So, and that's it. Now I'll stop talking here, and then we're going to turn it over to Mr. Danny Walsh. And we had him on for a bunch of reasons. One is he's an expert in marketing and e-com and things like that. He's going to talk about the Fishbowl Funnel today. But also, he recently got a job, or sort of a job, a position. We'll just say a position with ClickFunnels. So, Danny, why don't you tell us what you are doing for ClickFunnels right now, and introduce yourself, of course, as well.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me, and hopefully this is working and you can see me and hear me. It's amazing to be on the show, and I know that you've got some awesome people in these groups and these communities where you're broadcasting. So hopefully I could teach you some stuff. But just in terms of the ClickFunnels stuff, you may have seen the recent spotlight interview that I did with Laura, and you might have seen the Funnel Hacker TV that I was on with Ben recently. And those conversations are kind of going in a certain direction all around what's going on in the Facebook community, the big Facebook group for ClickFunnels, right? And on the Funnel Hacker TV with Ben, you may have seen, and we did it real quick, you may have seen the little logo drop down. Can anybody remember what that said? Did anybody see that? Let us know in the comments if you're watching as well. If you saw that.
Log in on when you were on Funnel Hacker TV.
Yeah, and we dropped a little logo, and it was like a sneak preview. It was only on for a few seconds, like on a white background. That's something you need to go back and check out. But what we've been working on behind the scenes is some cool stuff to help the ClickFunnels community at large to get more out of that group. So there are some very interesting developments and some very interesting things that we're doing as part of that project. And I've been fortunate enough to be working alongside the community outreach team at ClickFunnels to put in place some new ways of doing things and to work alongside those guys to bring in some ways for people to share more content, ways for us to spotlight what users are doing, and ways to really uplift members of that community who are contributing. Does that kind of make sense?
Well, it makes perfect sense because I think years ago the group was that way, and the group was good years ago, and it basically got taken over by spammers. It got to the point where seriously nobody wanted to use the group. Anybody who asked a question in there was immediately bombarded with 4,000 DMs and people from all over just saying, "Oh yeah, I can help you, I can help you, I can help you." Well, how you help them is you answer their question. You don't immediately DM them trying to get $5 out of them. You answer their question. And that's one of the things that I always did in the Facebook group there. And sometimes I just did it just to piss off the spammers, because they'd be like, oh, well, it's going to take custom code. So what I would do is I'd write the custom code and I just drop it into the comments.
Just give it to the
Here
guy.
it goes. And yeah, the guys who were in there who were trying to get their $5 out of this person, they weren't happy about that, I would guess. But I don't care. When somebody asks for help them.
Yeah, I think that's my philosophy. And what we're going to look at with the Fishbowl Funnel is I'm all about communities and actually giving people a voice and sort of looking at it through the eyes of a ClickFunnels user. 5-6 years ago, 2016, 17, I was very active in that group and I did a big bunch of stuff. I traveled all over the place. You can watch the interviews, right? I don't need to go into the backstory too much. But I left and went and built my e-com business and used funnels in my own business and didn't so much support other people with their funnels. It's kind of like when Dorothy returned to Oz. So I've come back to ClickFunnels group and I'd be like, oh man, what's going on here? What's this guy on about? Why are people getting all this DM, PM business? And I've been fortunate enough to kind of start a conversation with the right people at ClickFunnels, and they were actually thinking the same. So it wasn't me coming in with, hey, I've got this amazing idea. It was almost like we came together at exactly the right time. And it was like, maybe we should look at this more seriously. And we've had conversations over the last 3 months, and we're now at a point, especially with Funnel Hacker TV coming back online and a lot more cool stuff with ClickFunnels 2.0 and all these other developments that are going on right now. We're at a point where we can actually start to focus on that group. Because like you said, Dan, nobody wants to be coming into a group, asking a question and then getting like bombarded to death with people who just want $5. But equally, there's a bunch of people in there who are doing such fantastic work with ClickFunnels that they are possibly afraid to post, or maybe they don't want to post, or maybe they feel that they're going to get, I don't know, moderated, or it's just not what it used to be. You see where I'm going with that? Because you've kind of said the same thing. So what we've got is some stuff coming down the pipeline very, very quickly that's hopefully going to wave goodbye to some of the spammers and the scammers and open that floor up to the community at large. And it's really exciting.
Having the group basically collapse the way it did over the years, it doesn't help ClickFunnels either. Because if I'm a ClickFunnels user, I'm a newbie, I come in there and I ask a question and immediately I got 250 people DMing me, I'm just going to quit and go to some other software. Because when I first got into ClickFunnels, they had basically a daily Q&A call. I mean, and every day at lunch, I would make my lunch and I would sit down and I would watch that Q&A call every single day. Even for 6 months before buying the software, I did that. And I personally think that something like that should be brought back, because that was huge in the community to be able to do that. But I also wanted to say one thing, though, is I know that Ben Moot really was instrumental in really working to fix the Facebook group. He actually reached out to all of us, asked us our opinions as well. And so I'm glad to see, Danny, that he grabbed the hold of you and got you in that position so that, somebody can get this cleaned up. Because, I mean, frankly, Ben's got like 14 jobs right now already. He doesn't have time to bring on one more thing. He's got plenty of stuff to do working with Russell side by side.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I've kind of kept coming from this side, Ben's sort of coming in from this side, and I know, everything was all happening at the same time. And when me and Ben sort of came back together, we sort of knew each other from Funnel Hacking Live 2017. We said that on the Funnel Hacker TV. Everything was sort of positioned in the right place to have the capacity. And look, there's an amazing team behind the scenes at ClickFunnels. It's a pleasure to work with these guys. But what I'm really interested in from that outreach perspective is, how do people feel? And is the Q&A something? Because, we can suggest that, we can take that back to the table and say, look, people are asking for this thing. How do we make that possible? I'm all about making things possible, but in order to free up a big bunch of time, there are some things that we have to work on, right? And everybody kind of giving feedback, honest feedback. If you guys are the conduit for that, then we're all ears. And it's about the members. It's about the people using ClickFunnels. It's not about some dude who wants to come in there and spam everybody, right? So we're all ears. We're open to suggestion, and we really want to give members that conduit in that group and the limelight that they actually deserve. So I'm really excited. I know some of these things are in development still. Some of these things are going to come online quite quickly. You've already seen some changes. You've already seen some stark changes in the group, I think, over the last few weeks and months. But there's a lot more to come. And with Funnel Hacker TV online now as well, supporting that and the fantastic work that Ben does, I think that, here's to the future. And I'm really excited about it. And I know if we can get this right, it's going to benefit a lot of people in that community.
Well, and I also want to give a shout out to Susan Leonardson, who is part of our Geek Out group here, because she should have been on last week with Ben, because Funnel Hacker TV is Susan and Ben. She unfortunately needed to be out of town for a few days, as she wasn't able to be on there and work with you. But I just don't want people to forget about Susan just because she had to take the day off. So
we can't. No one can forget about Susan, and sometimes life gets in the way, right? And I know that's the good thing about ClickFunnels, because the community is the thing that I love the most about that. And a lot of people will say, what is your reason for being part of ClickFunnels? You guys covered it on the, should I, change software kind of feature that you've done. I've been watching that stuff, and it's like the community is integral, and some of the things that were, maybe they'll come back, and some of the things that are, maybe they'll disappear. And some things, we all clearly agree do need to be sorted out. So people have been heard, and we'd love to hear even more feedback and constructive criticism. You don't want people coming in there going, oh, and having a big rant. We want the constructive stuff that we can actually work with. And if we get that, I'm sure that we can make things happen, and we can make it happen quickly, and we can do that for the benefit of everybody. How does that sound?
well, yeah, Russell likes to do everything quickly. So enough of the Facebook group. We beat that. So now we're going to get to why we really brought you on here today, is because somebody told me that you, using this fishbowl funnel, were able to build a group of like 700 million people or something close to that. And
A few thousand.
you just made billions and billions of dollars off of it. So obviously I'm exaggerating a bit, but why don't you, wherever you want to jump in, wherever you want to start, you should be able to share your screen and just enlighten us on how we can all do this ourselves.
This stuff, what I want to talk about, is quite straightforward, but it took me a while to figure this stuff out, right? And if this helps one person or helps a lot of people, then I've achieved something here today. And I'll try and keep it short and to the point. If I can share my
you should
screen,
be good to go. Yep, there you go.
You should see the little whiteboard.
Yep.
And I see things like in a real simple way when it comes to funnels. And I know, Dan, you've already asked a question about this, and I'll make sure that I clarify this. In my mind, a funnel is a process to move our customers, and there's my customer. I'm not as good as Russell's drawing, so you'll have to bear with me. But we want to move people from A to B, right, in our business. And for me, that is an ad, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a paid ad. This could be a video, a TikTok, a reel, something organic. But for all intents and purposes, let's just call that an ad, somewhere where people see us online. And we want to move them from that point when they see us to another point, which is the bank, right? Because if you get people seeing your ad, naturally, the whole point of doing that is to generate leads, get more customers, get more sales. So if you think about this, dead simple, we want to move people from there to there, right? And to do that, well, you could have a big complicated website, or you could have a big bunch of sophisticated things going on, or you could just have a funnel. And what I did when I kind of left the ClickFunnels community those years ago, I didn't leave using ClickFunnels, is I went to set up an e-commerce business doing something that I love doing, which is fishing, right? And in the UK, we've got an audience of specialist fishermen and women who fish for big carp. And we know from data that there's about 300,000 of these people in the whole country who fish for these certain type of fish. And the market is very saturated. It's full of people who will more than happily, cause you problems to try and move you out of the way. It's a very difficult niche to break into, and it is very, very niche. People have got their opinions. You know how it is, right? So what I wanted to do is use funnels and the things that I know to make an impact in this industry. And I had to figure out what is the best way to get people from A to B. And I did a bunch of research and I looked through all of the resources that I've got and expert secrets and all the rest of it. And the big things that stand out from expert secrets is all about building your tribe, building your community of people, right? So I knew that that is something that I had to do in order to be successful. So what could you do? You could go and spend a bunch of money on paid ads and just try and sell the product, right? So we could say, right, well, we're going to set up a Shopify store, or we're going to set up, I don't know, WooCommerce or whatever it is. And then we're going to spend a bunch of pounds or dollars to try and get these people to go to the store and buy. But because the margins are so small in its actual physical products, wasn't drop shipping, it wasn't anything like that. If people bounce and left the site, that's lost money. And if we couldn't compete with the big discounters, why would people come? Why would they bother? They click the ad, they think, hey, new fishing shop in town. Curiosity would get them to come to the site, but when they see my price, they go, oh man, I can get this thing cheaper. But if I was to sell it cheap, I would never have made any money. Can you see where I'm going with that, you guys?
Oh yeah, I definitely got it.
Yeah. So what we had to do is figure out a way to actually sell products and keep the margin, right? Because digital products or affiliate products, the overheads are not the same, right? So we knew that we had to find that way to sell our products at the retail price or above. And this is what we came up with, right? Instead of sending people to that store and saying, buy my stuff, we put a funnel in the middle of that process. Dead simple. And I'm going to show you some examples, actual examples that we've used, which will hopefully inspire some folks. And I can see the comments in the chat. Let me know if you've got any questions. Big shout out to Tyler and the guys that are watching that I can see. What we did is we thought, well, what makes these guys interested in something? They like innovative products. They like new products. They like a discount, but we can't really go there yet. But they also seem to be a lot of competitions going on, a lot of giveaways going on in this industry, where people would be like, hey, like and share my Facebook post and we'll give away this thing, right? So we thought, I wonder if we could use a funnel to bridge people from where they see us to where they buy stuff and have some fun along the way and give them a chance to win some stuff. And so it's not overly difficult to come up with, right? We're going to give away some stuff and we're going to use that as an incentive, and it lends itself to that fishbowl. So you go to the fairground or the carnival, and the guy stood there going, hey, write your name and phone number on this piece of paper, put it in the fishbowl. I'll pull one out at random, and whoever I pull out is going to win this thing, right? And maybe you pay for that or you take part in whatever it is. We want to do that with a funnel. So what we did is we started out very, very simply with a 2-page funnel. And on the first page, we said, win this thing. In order to win this thing, you need to enter, you can guess what, right? Your name and your email and your phone number as well. That'd be useful, right? So that adds them naturally to an email list. So it's a great lead magnet. If you say, hey, win some stuff, you put your name and email. People don't put fake email addresses because they need to know if they've won, right? So straight away, people were putting in correct emails and correct phone numbers on the off chance that they won this thing. But people ask me, how do you start this if you don't even have any money? What you do is you go down to the store that already sells the stuff in your niche, you grab something off the shelf, you take a picture or a video there and then in the store and say, hey, win this thing, and you put it back on the shelf. And that's what we did. We went down and we grabbed some stuff, we got a picture of me with it, and it was probably worth, I don't know, $100, right? Wasn't overly expensive, but I knew at that time I didn't want to spend that money, because if that went down like a lead balloon, then I would have thrown that money away for nothing. So I got this thing, I took a picture, got a video, hey, win this thing, it's going to be amazing, using the stuff that I've learned in Expert Secrets, right? And we put it on a very, very simple ClickFunnels Classic page, video, headline, button, right? And people have never heard of us, ever. We started off from nothing, right? And it was like, hey, win this thing. What I did is added them obviously to the mailing list, but then where the magic happens is on the second page. So anybody can build one of these things now. And look, 2023, when we're recording this, you've got ClickFunnels 2.0, you've got, this stuff is, you've been reading this stuff for years. You've got all of these marketers and resources, all of this crazy stuff going on. Anyone can build one of these. Anybody in this community can build this thing, right? The thank you page is where the magic happened, right? On this thank you page, what I figured out is we would ask people to complete a series of steps, right? So this is how it goes. Step 1, right? Join our Facebook group. You need to join the Facebook group so you know if you have won. That's it. Simple, right? Number 2, like our page on Facebook. We didn't use Instagram. We didn't use, there was no such thing as TikTok. We didn't bother with anything else, just Facebook, right? Like our page. Simple, but effective. And there's a thing called micro commitments, right? Where if somebody starts the process and you ask them to complete little things, they will do it. All of this rests on that caveat that you need to complete the steps to confirm your entry, right? So, hey, guy on the internet, we're giving away this thing that you really desire, right? You really desire this thing and we're giving it away. What do I need to do to win it? If they don't like fishing, they don't enter. People who like golf don't enter fishing competitions, right? You see how powerful that is? Enter your name and email. Well, they're not going to put a fake email in like they would on a free download or something and just get it on the thank you page and then thanks for coming and disappear. They're going to put the real details in. We've got them on the mailing list and we know that they're hot on that mailing list, right? Because they want to know if they won. Go to the next page, join our group so you can find out if you win. And we have a big thing on there saying, stop, your entry is not yet complete, follow the steps. Right? It's like kind of like when you see an upsell page, an OTO, and they go on there and it's like, stop, your order is not complete. We had to make them stop. Step 1, you go to the group. Step 2, like the page. Step 3, check your email. Right? Very important. And in that email, what we did is we mailed them a link back to the thank you page in case they forgot it or closed it by accident. And we said, reply to tell us that you have it. And doing that made them immediately bypass the spam filter. So every mail from that moment forward, hopefully with a little bit of, send grid magic or whatever we was using at the time, it would land in their inbox. So we had the right details. We knew we could get into their inbox. We knew they'd join the group. We knew that they'd like the page. So these things, they started to grow quickly, because who doesn't want to win something? Step 4, right, is a bit more magic. Share this page with your friends for an extra chance to win. I'm giving it, this is like, some of this stuff is like top secret stuff, right? And what happens then is one person quite quickly turns into 5 people or 10 people or 20 people. And then they go through the process, they follow the steps, they join the group, they like the page, they share it with the friends. We messed around for a while with a magic software called UpViral, and that made it actually more like a game on the thank you page. So they could actually get points, and it would say like, hey, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it here, share it there, and you can get points. And the person with the most points, I've not even covered this in my actual training, person with the most points gets a bonus prize. Oh man. So people were actually competing to get to the top of that little viral scoreboard as well. You see where I'm going with all this? Because it's like, I've lived and breathed this stuff for years, and we've made a big bunch of changes to this and adaptations to this. And what we realized is, on that thank you page, not only could you ask them to complete steps, you could ask them to do some rather fun, cool stuff. So imagine when they land on the thank you page, step 1, group, step 2, page, step 3, email, step 4, share. Imagine if you said, we will give a bonus prize to somebody who changes their Facebook profile picture to our profile picture, right? At one point, we had 350 people on Facebook with their actual profile picture as our brand. In a rock hard niche where nobody has ever heard of us. Can you imagine what the competitors were saying? And I still get flack from these guys now. People are glad that we've kind of moved away from this stuff, right?
Well, the first question they would have is, how much money did that cost?
Well, quite. And they couldn't figure it out. And some of them have joined ClickFunnels. They still couldn't figure it out. Because as you know, unless you funnel hack and you actually go through the process, you're only going to see the tip of the iceberg, right? So we were doing some weird and wonderful stuff on that back end that was getting people to share this like crazy and actually pledge allegiance to our brand, right? Which was really cool. And we came up with the hashtag, you don't get that at another dealer, which was the letters that kind of spelled that out. And we had that on with t-shirts. And we would give people free stuff and be like, hey, you don't get that at another dealer. And they go, no, you don't. But all of this stuff, what it's actually done, guys, is allowed us to populate our Facebook group, right? And what you've got to think about is our group was kind of like the members area or the back end of the business, because we did, let me just get rid of some of this stuff. We then brought online our e-com store. So we use Shopify to do this. It's no secret. We set up a Shopify store. And again, if you go and look at that industry now, probably 90% of the businesses are all on Shopify. But they weren't when we started, but now they are. I wonder why that is, right? So we then had a Shopify store, and companies were contacting us going, hey, you've got this big group and you're doing all these crazy giveaways. Can we put our products on your site? So we didn't even have to source suppliers. And we ended up with about 6,000 individual products on our Shopify store and about 20,000 people in our Facebook group. We actually whittled that down a little bit because we did attract some of the wrong people. And now it stands at about 17,000 people. Still there to this day. And We actually did a breakout group from that, a couple of breakout groups. We've done challenges. We've done a bunch of stuff, modeled it on Expert Secrets, right? And it's been amazing. It's been awesome. And it's made that business with the Shopify stores made about $3 million in the period of time that we did it, right? And it's all thanks to that innovative approach with the fishbowl funnel. So what we did is we started to work on the fishbowl funnel where it became more of a game, more fun and more scarcity. And if it's okay with you guys, I want to share with you one fishbowl funnel that we actually used on Halloween and the process that we used on the thank you page that actually allowed us to make a ridiculous amount of money in 6 hours. I think it's like, I don't know, £12,000 in 6 hours from a very small group of people. Can I show you that?
Yes, please.
Is there any questions on any of that stuff before we move on?
Well, I got a million questions on it. If you want us, do you want us to ask questions now, or do you want us to let you finish and then ask questions?
Do you want me I'll just show you the fishbowl funnel from Halloween, and then it kind of encapsulates all this stuff. And look, I won't leave people hanging. There's some stuff that we can share with people where they can really get under the hood of this stuff. I realize we've only got a limited amount of time. I've had coffee and I'll speak all night. So let me share.
Got to be getting dark too.
It's gonna go dark. Let me share with you this other screen. I just want to get it right before I share on there because I don't want to be sharing anything we shouldn't. Screen 2. I'm going to boom, 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 boom.
There's no email addresses or anything.
Yeah, no email addresses. But look, this thing, if I refresh it, this was what we ran for Halloween. So there's a logo with a guy in a mask, a headline. It was dead simple. And this is like not very well designed funnel. We try and build these super quick. It's like your chance to win a share of 1,200 quid's worth of fishing prizes, take part in our free Halloween competitions, get access to our live sale on Halloween, and there's a pumpkin competition, Tales from the Crypt, and some profile picture competitions and more, right? Register below before it's too late. That was the hook. And we got a bunch of stock footage, and we made this video, which you can see kind of whirring away in the background. And I had a lot of fun doing this. It's like awesome. We got the blood dripping down and all of the rest of it. And I sort of popped up with the mask on, the same mask, and I gave the little video sales letter. Sign up below. This is what you're going to get. This is how it's going to work. And would you believe it? There's some stuff that kind of reiterates what we was going to do, how it works, what you get, right? Who's it for? Does it cost any money? Right? That's key. Lots of competitions and ways to win are free. All you need to do is register. But then we have deals, live show, and prizes that you can only win by making orders in the Shopify store. Right? You see how powerful that is? So even if you've no money to spend, you can still get involved in this. You can still share this like crazy. But if you do have money to spend, you've more chance of winning some of the big stuff. You press the button, you go for your name, email, phone number, you check the box for the data protection stuff, and you sign up. Now, on the thank you page, this is where we've taken it from 4 steps to a bunch of steps. But micro commitments is an amazing thing. On this page, there was another video. I popped up again. It's like, hey, thank you for signing up. Follow the steps below. That's what you need to do on this second page. Scroll down, see what you could win this Halloween. So, first thing, would you imagine join our group? Second thing, get your savings code for the moment that they registered. So if they got this code, they could use it anytime between when they're registered and Halloween, right? Then get your other savings code for Halloween that's only valid between 6 p.m. and midnight. 2 savings codes on the thank you page, right? One for now, one for later. Keep that stuff. And we emailed them to remind them. I shouldn't really show you this. And there's going to be competitors like doing this stuff. They probably watch this and be like, ah, man, try this, right? Here's how the main game works. You must order at least one thing from our shop, and that site, we've turned it off now, so nobody can go on there, between 4:30 p.m. and midnight to play the game, right? First person to order wins a £50 prize, right? This will set your Shopify store on fire. Order received closest to these hours will win a £20 prize. right? Other prizes are awarded too. See below. If you find some bones in your order, we got like a bag of plastic Halloween bones, and we just chuck these in orders at random. Somebody's going to win more stuff. If you find the skull, you win the £100 prize. You can see where I'm going with this. The person who makes the most orders wins a Halloween box, and the person that spends the most wins something of like super insane value. Every order gets raffle tickets for Fishmas. Now, don't let them get me started on Fishmas. That was like the 30 days of Fishmas instead of Christmas, all through December. You've got to realize that it's freezing cold in December and nobody goes fishing. So we needed to wear to make money when nobody was buying this stuff, right? So this is a cool way of doing it. And every order gets a free extra. You can play with that however you want, right? And I don't know if people are going crazy in the comments. Be ready. Remember, you must order between 4:30 and midnight. And then we did some crazy stuff. The person who makes the 47th order wins that. Person who makes the last order, right? Can you see how crazy this is going to make people? It's like, oh my gosh. And the secret was we actually got a bunch of these prizes for free from our supplier. So we didn't actually have to pay for them. Now, look, this is not something I would recommend you do today. I would recommend you start today with like one prize. You give it away in your Facebook group. You repeat that process. You build momentum. You keep getting people to share. But once you've got your store and you've got your audience, you can go crazy with this stuff. And this was a couple of years in. Don't know what to buy, get a horror bucket. Right? It's a bucket full of random stuff. Share it with your friends, and then change your profile picture. We had hundreds of people with that Corpy Halloween picture, right? Then there's a competition for pumpkin and best home display. I went live a few times on the night. We did some, horror tales. We had a live sale. We give a download, and we had like 9 steps. I went crazy on this thing, right? Check your email, but it's all based on that original concept of the fishbowl funnel. Now, this thing, by the time midnight arrived, notwithstanding all the sales we'd had with that coupon prior to that, and all the sharing and the new people joining the group, but all of that goodness as well, I think this did about 20 grand. So that was about, I don't know, $24,000 in a short period of time. The year before, I think we did about 12 grand. I can check the numbers and all the rest of it. All of this could be verified if people wanted to check that out. But the magic happened in the Shopify store, and we already had them armed, ready to come again on Black Friday, where we did a similar thing. Fishmas, where we went through the month. And then if you want to do the spring sale, the Easter sale, the summer sale, but it's all based on an advanced version of the fishbowl. And people loved it. They shared it like crazy. We made money, but it didn't feel like selling. And the whole point of this was to give people an amazing time. Go live, see what they're up to for Halloween. It'd be great to do something like this in ClickFunnels, right? It's like, hey, win all of this ClickFunnels amazing stuff, but you've got to do these things. Check it out. I don't know what people are saying in the comments, because I'm passionate about that. But if that gives you any value and any insight into how we made a big bunch of money without reducing our prices too much, fire away with questions. But we love doing this stuff. It was pretty cool.
Well, now, I mean, yeah, there's just a ton of great stuff there, and I appreciate all that. But so just to backfill on a couple things here, there is one very important thing that you said, is that what you did for Halloween was not where you started. That
Absolutely.
was a couple of years in. That's once you had the Shopify store, because as you saw there, I mean, it's, go there and buy and buy and buy and buy. And the person who bought at 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock and all these different things, you have to have a store, you have to have a lot of product for people to be able to buy to be able to pull off that Halloween thing. But another thing I would say about that Halloween funnel is, for all of you people out there who are, all into the design and it has to be perfect and all that, I mean, come on. That thing was pretty ugly. I mean, it really was. And, not to bust on you guys, but it was. And homemade video. And just, that's the thing that can happen when you get the concept right, when you get the words right on the page, when you really look at what is going to motivate people. It's not the color of something. It's not what motivates them is, oh my God, I can get like all these. I mean, you're getting people excited is really what it's coming down to. Especially with that there, with all the, 14 different contests you had basically running simultaneously, but even on just the fishbowl thing, So just on the fishbowl thing, then I'll let Madison and Andrea jump in here. So it's not necessarily ads, not necessarily paid ads. So you can be doing a YouTube video, you can be doing a Facebook Live, you can be doing Reels, TikTok, whatever. And somewhere in there you say, oh, and go to your landing page to enter to win a prize.
To win some stuff.
What it works? I mean, that's what you're telling them, to go there to win something, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that means you don't have to have a beautifully designed funnel, because people don't care. There's 3 principles in all of this stuff. Technology has to work. So it just has to work. You put the right offer in front of the right people, and then you build and maintain the relationship. That is the bit that makes the magic happen. If you look at anybody that's successful online, they have got a following of people that they have nurtured and built a relationship with over time. The success might not happen immediately, but if you nurture 10 people, that will turn into 20 people. That will turn into 100 people, 1,000 people, right? So by giving away stuff and actually doing this, we went live in the group. We drew, the winner out of an envelope, out of a hat. It was crude. It was as raw as you like. It was me, my phone, and some crap that I'd picked up off the shelf of the store and actually put back until I knew it was time to give it away. And all we were doing is filling that group. Fill the group. A few weeks' time, hey, we're going to do the giveaway, and somebody wins that, and you post it out, and then you say, right, we're going to do another one, and you move up an increment, right? And then you're going to say, hey, the profile picture thing, and all of those crazy vouchers and steps and whatnot, that came after time. People think that they've got to just build this thing straight away and have all of these different things going on, and they've got to look like the best. They've got to look, like you've got to copy Russell. Everything's got to be copied exactly. If you don't do that, you're going to fail. And it's so far away from the truth. You've got to move in those increments and nurture your audience. That's what we did. And over time, things started to fall into place.
Yeah. Just one thing at a time. Build your first one. Do the one. But the real question I have here is, have you tried doing this with, instead of sending people to an opt-in page, sending them directly to your Facebook group, and in there say, and the 3 questions say, okay, put in your email address because we're going to enter you in as a prize, and then whatever 2 and whatever 3 is. Have you tried it that way, and does it work as well?
Even though you run your fishbowl, right, and you've got your pages, people will still find a way just to come to the group. So what you've just said there is bang on the money, Dan, because we realized folks are just joining the group now because they've seen somebody share something, right? So somebody shared the wrong thing. They didn't share the landing page, they shared the thank you page, right? And somebody's just got the thank you page and just started clicking the stuff. They didn't opt in. They were just arriving at the group. And we had to configure those questions, and we had to kind of, when they say like ready, aim, fire, well, we had to do a lot of ready, fire, aim, and kind of aim it as this thing was flying, because otherwise you would, look, we used to do music back in the day, and there was a guy who was older than me, and he was a rapper. And everything that he rapped about, he would always do the tape or do the music. He'd listen to it and he'd go, it's not quite right. He was forever aiming and he never made it. Whereas the kids who just put something out there, they surpassed him. And they actually did make it, but it was very rough and ready at the first instance. Does that kind of make sense? So yes, we had to work on the fly. Yes, we had to do things with the group. We've not actually tried sending people just to a group. We've always tried to get them on the mailing list, which does pay dividends down the line. But I guess there's no reason why you couldn't just go live, say, hey, join the group, and I'm going to give this stuff away next week. What do you think? Join. Because you've still got the audience and you can still communicate and build that relationship. Yeah. The shortest funnel often wins.
Well, what my thought was on the Facebook group is you send them to the Facebook group, you say, put in your email address in order to enter into this contest. If you don't put in your email address, you don't get entered into the contest. And then how they actually enter is once they get the email that you sent to them, then they hit reply and they go somewhere when they hit reply, well, I guess if they hit reply, they wouldn't go anywhere. They would just reply. They'd have to reply back to you. So that cleans up your email list, and it gets you a good email address all simultaneously while they're joining the group.
All roads lead to Rome, right? And if they come through your 3 questions, or they come through your opt-in funnel, or they message you on Facebook and say, how do I get into this draw? As long as you're taking them on that right direction and moving them forward, you're nurturing them, you're showing them that you care, you're willing to have that conversation with them, and you actually give this thing away. They're going to come back time and time again. They're going to share this. They're going to change the profile picture. And it's been a big bunch of fun. We've actually got one running still for the group right now, you know, and we've got stuff running in other niches as well where people are doing this. But rather than trying to spend money on ads and just get people to a Shopify or whatever it is and say, hey, buy this stuff that they could get anywhere, it kind of makes more sense to have some fun and build and nurture. And if you do that, I think you'll have a lot more success earlier on. It's worked.
Well, and I'll just let people know here, and then I'll let the ladies jump in. If there are 300,000 people who are interested in this carp fishing stuff in Britain, and he got 20,000 in his group, that's 6% of the overall market he had in his group. So just think about that for a second. And then, ladies, you got any questions?
I have so many, but Madison, go. Please ask any questions that are top of your mind.
So, number one, in your video, I binged like all your videos last night. You talked about the Amazon affiliate links and keeping track of people. It tracks them, and if they buy anything on Amazon, which I thought was genius.
That is something that I kind of arrived at on one of my latest trainings. I kind of go live 3 times a week, and I've started off with the fishbowl stuff, and I think I've just done episode 10 today. Right, so there's like 10 videos on a page that you don't even need to opt in to see. If you want to share that, you're welcome to do that. But as I was kind of building one of these things out in 2.0 to show people and kind of give them the concept, look, I don't want to sit there and have a color scheme and a style guide and a big bunch of all fancy stuff that takes me 6 weeks to do. I want people entering a competition, right? So it's very crude, it's very rough and ready, but the principles are the same. And as I was doing that, I was like, Amazon stuff, where can I get a prize from in that same notion of walk into the store, grab something off the shelf and take a picture? Well, Amazon, right? And you can set yourself up as an Amazon associate. And then I thought, well, what happens if we say on the thank you page or even on the landing page, which I'm testing, have a look at the prize, check out the prize. And people click that link and they're kind of cookied for 24 hours to Amazon Associates. And if they buy anything in that period, which somebody's just going to go and buy, like, I don't know, coffee beans and board pens and a bunch of stuff, you get a little fraction. It's not 40%, but that's super exciting. And I want to explore that even further. So yes, you know, there's an example. I've done the funnel. You can have the funnel, the trainings there, everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other cool thing, like looking at it, I see so many people that give up on e-com, especially like print on demand, because they built out a store, they built out a product, it didn't work. They built out another product, it didn't work. They built out, and the third time they were like, I'm done. And you know, they're maybe even $1,000 into it at that point. And so you could do this, make a little money with the Amazon affiliates or other affiliate products, and then build that group. And then in that group, you could say, hey, do you like this product or you like this product? And they could just be mock-ups or just ideas.
Or you could make your own product. I don't know where my little thing is. We actually have this little thing, and it's basically, it rolls up and it goes inside of a little bag. You fill it with fishing bait, and when you cast it in, the bag melts, and it helps you to load the bag. And we called it a bag loader, and we did it free plus shipping, and we gave out 5,000 units, and in like a short period of time. And we did that in the group on the back of the fishbowl. So it's like 2 months in, was like, hey, we can develop this crazy product that I've had in my mind, and we can ship this in an envelope because it's not big and heavy and it doesn't break. And what's the next logical, thinking back to Russell, what's the next logical thing the guy would need? Well, he needs the bags. So we got onto a guy in China, and the bags flat, you know, they pack flat with this thing, and then they need the actual stuff to put in the bags. And then they might want one of our crazy mystery buckets, which we don't know what's in them until the person's kind of bought them. And the average order value was about 75, 80 across the board, pounds. But that thing is inexpensive and it's just something that we dreamt up is in sort of response to a problem. But because we had the audience and they were used to giving us the details, you see, in the UK, people don't put the credit or debit card into anything. They use PayPal, and that wouldn't work with ClickFunnels without like CF Pro
Yeah, it's
Tools.
clunky. Yeah.
So I had to kind of train people to not be scared of using the debit card. You see how like that's difficult in a rock hard niche, and like Dan's kindly pointed out, we actually started to own a percentage of that market, notwithstanding that it's seasonal. So spring through autumn, fall, that's the time when people do this. So what about the other side of the year when it's frozen? You know, it gets cold over here. So we had to come up with innovative things. And if I showed you some of the little mini funnels that we've done, dropped in there, done an offer, and then closed it down after a week, you'd fall off your chair. So this is the tip of the iceberg, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that's all the questions I have.
Well, just a real quick aside here. What do they do with these carp after they catch them?
Don't eat them. These things are like celebrities. These fish, they've got names. They're huge.
So you only need to catch and release.
Take a photograph and put it back. And some of these fish are, you know, older than me, right? And I'm 42 right now. Some of these fish are going on 50 years of age. Big, old, wood carving, you know, 40, 50 pounds in weight. They've been in that water for so long, and they are very difficult to catch. If you go and have a look find me on Facebook and look in my profile, I'm sure there's a few fish, but we release them. It's not sport fishing, right? There are, you know, people catching trout and things like that. There's all sorts of different fishing, but we focused on this weird niche group of people. But I've been in, and you know, I fish for these things. I get it. I understand it. You've got to kind of have some knowledge. But all that does is it means you can pair up a business with your hobby and build a following without spending thousands and thousands and getting disheartened, like Madison said.
Right, exactly. Andrea, what do you got?
Yeah, so my question was, so it sounds like you really used, or it looks like, and I love the story too, Danny. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. You really like ramped up on that scarcity urgency thing and drove momentum into the experience. And I think it's really hard to do that and it not feel like contrived or pushed, right? And it seems like you've done that really well. And so as I was listening to it, I was like, I think that the reason why it might not feel contrived is because he's really nailing the offer part of it, right? Like it seems like you probably know your audience very deeply. And so the thing that you're offering them as the gift is not a gimmick or not something, you know what I mean? Like it's something that would be very, very wanted based on your deep understanding of that audience. And that's the reason why it didn't, you know, all the other stuff, you know what I mean? Like Dan talked about the funnel or the experience, right? Like that was kind of almost played into the awesome momentum because the thing itself was so valuable. Would you agree with that? And then how did you get to that deep knowledge?
I think obviously having a basic knowledge of the sport or the hobby or whatever it is super important. But the more, you see, we drew all of those competitions in the first instance live in the group, and we would listen to the comments and we'd shout people out, and we'd also give things away there and then on the live, right? So we was like, hey, Andrea, you've won this thing and I'm going to send it to you in the post, right? That built a big bunch of trust and also excitement to actually be on the live. Right. And it was like a natural progression because we talk about something, hey, and you know, I talk about this for ages. Who wants to win one of these things? And even if you don't win, why don't you enter this thing? Or why don't you buy this thing? Or here's a coupon. And we really looked after people, and we still do. You know, it's not a gimmick thing to make money. It's never been about the money. It's been about the people. And we've invested money in stuff. We've made bad decisions. It's never always worked. Some of this stuff has just not taken off. Think, you know, COVID, cost of living crisis, all these times, it's been difficult. And our core group of people has always seen us through. And we've been fishing with these guys. We've really immersed ourselves in that hobby. But that's just me, right? And that's kind of like how I would do it. People sometimes are afraid to jump into something. And I think if you're not going to jump into your own business, you know, Russell Brunson talks about the best salesman in your business is you. The best person to sell the thing in your business is you. And if you look at all of the successful marketers, whoever they are, or successful authors, they've really got that connection with the audience. Whereas, you know, if somebody says something bad about them online, all the fans kind of jump in. That's what you're aiming to build, because your technology works, even though it might look a little bit rough. You've put that offer in front of the people, but the main bit that you can't do without those first two things in place is that building and maintaining that relationship. And that's so important to all of this going forward. And if you get that bit right, you know, in the eyes of some people, that's a piece of plastic. In the eyes of another person, that's the most awesome tool for loading your PVA melting bag. There's a lot of psychology and theory and all sorts of crazy stuff that goes into that, but on the surface, tech works right off it, and you've got to turn up, you've got to be there on time, and you've got to really go in to show these people that it's not about the money, but the money makes the world go around. You kind of need the money to do the next one, and if you get that right, they give you money.
Right.
Does that kind of make sense?
If somebody's brand new to this, they've never done it before, and they want to jump in on one of these, obviously it's best if you're working in a market that you know, people that are you know, you have an affinity to, you know what they would like for prizes. But just so people aren't too scared here, what kind of a price point do you think you should be looking at for the prize? If you're brand new, you're starting up, you're going to do your first fishbowl, you know, are you talking $50, $100? What are you talking?
$50 to $100. Now, look, this thing is best business to consumer. So something, whether it's, you know, imagine doing that in cosmetics, right? It's a massive global industry. Clearly, I'm not the guy for that job.
Yeah, me
right? Maybe I am. I don't know. But imagine if, you know, you come on the screen, it's like, hey guys, we've got this amazing, you know, cosmetic products. You've got all of these different makeup and different things in there. You've got the bath stuff in there. See, I don't even know what some of this stuff's called, but I can kind of envisage the process working. It's like, hey, you're going to get all these beauty products. It's worth $100. Would you like to win it? And people, they've got a choice. They're either going to say, yes, I want to win that thing, or no. Same way, somebody's got a choice. This is rubbish, or this is actually valuable. But if you just give them that choice and nothing else, half of them will come and half of them will leave. If I told you that some of these fish bowls are upwards of 75% opt-in rate, you can go and do the maths, right? And that's insane. But I'd rather have that than 2% conversion rate at a discount with a coupon on a Shopify store that's costing me hundreds, if not thousands a month, and then have to ship and then have to handle returns. Giving people that choice, they either take it or they leave it. You do it in golf. Golfers, maybe it's a little bit more premium. Hey, you're going to get this amazing putter, or you're going to get this thing with, you know, a selection of golf balls in there, or whatever it is. You do it in fitness. Hey, a fitness watch. Well, you can get this stuff off Amazon, and when they look at the price, they're on your affiliate link anyway, and you can kind of make money off other things. You can self-liquidate this now, and I've just been thinking of this over the last week, and I'm like, oh man, why didn't we do that sooner? So you can go as far with this as you can imagine, and starting small by literally $100 prize that you've not even bought until the point comes where you're giving it away. That's the magic in this. And it's a funnel that you've built yourself. You've done the video on your phone, and you've not gone and spent $6,000 on a funnel designer with an upsells and downsells and all of this crazy stuff. You've just literally said what it is, what it's not. There's your choice. There's your page with your steps, and mail them, group, go live. That's the crux of it. And I think if you can do that now, rather than spending all this money, you see some success, and then you think, oh man, now we can build this site or this funnel or whatever it is. That was the theory anyway, and it's clearly had some benefit.
Well, and one of the really big benefits of what you just described is your list, because you now have a list of hyper-targeted people because they raised their hand, they opted in, they said, yes, I'm interested in whatever your XYZ is. So you know that those people are your best rabid buyers and they are interested in that thing.
Without a doubt. And what we did is we mailed the list and said, hey, who would like to make money while they fish? Would you like to be an affiliate of our Shopify store? Would you like to share our links and earn money? Would you like to learn some of this crazy funnel stuff that you're actually going through now that you've seen the light? And my funnel audience, my marketing audience has never actually gone away. It's just been lower key. Quite a few of those guys are anglers and they're actually making money while they fish by following stuff from Russell. And, you know, I'm not going to say any names. It'd be unfair to do that. But there are people in the funnel community who've come from my fishing community because fishermen need money, right? You need money to pay for all this expensive stuff that you're buying. So
those rods and reels are not cheap.
They're not cheap. And that having that crossover is perfectly acceptable. But it all started with a crazy guy with a crazy beard saying, win some stuff on the internet one day back in 2017. And now it's come full circle where I'm bringing a bunch of those guys back into, you know, back to us, where now they can hopefully do more fishing, make more money, and reap the benefits of ClickFunnels and the teaching. So it's a lot of it's about being, you know, that will to give and give people stuff. And the big thing, it's not about the money, it's about the people. And I guess if you can get that right in your mind, you're always going to make money. You're always going to have success. But that's a big pill for some folks to swallow. What can I do?
Okay. Anything else from you two? If not, we're past the top of the hour already. Anything else?
I think some major takeaways. Yeah, go ahead, Madison. No,
go
ahead.
you. No, okay.
You
go.
No.
I thought about last night. I have a course that I never really pushed. I never really sold, but I know the market. So think about youth softball players. Give them a giveaway, a bat, and then in the Facebook group, provide value in trainings, and then just give them my course for a discounted price because let's face it, it's not making me any money.
The magic line is, even if you didn't win, there's something of value, but you need to give me a little bit of money for it.
Totally.
Go try it, because what have you got to lose? Because you already own the course and you already own the list.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so major takeaway is that if you're going to try a fishbowl, then post it into the Geek Out group, and I want you to tag Danny, just with a giant shout out, and we'd love to see it. And the second thing is, don't be scared to come back to the ClickFunnels community, because we're doing an infusion of goodness and serving. We're getting back to our roots. And so if you are so bold to start to wade into those waters and help Danny on that mission to make that a safe space where we're all contributing and loving and sharing with one another, then I think he needs an army of people to help him do that. And so please, if that has inspired you, go. And again, tag Danny.
Without a doubt. And the ClickFunnels stuff underpins all of this, and to give back to that community is, you know, it's an honor. So there's a lot of exciting stuff going on right now. I can't spread myself too thinly. I'm focusing on a couple of cool clients that I'm working with, some amazing stuff, the ClickFunnels stuff, and my weekly lives. And I've literally given every single thing that I've just discussed in super detail. The writing's on the wall, right? It's on my wall. You know, if you guys want to share up that link or whatever you want to do, feel free. But it's all about bringing people through, and I'll always give, and I'll always have time for people, no matter what. And I guess if you could do that, then that's the build and maintain relationships bit, right?
Yep, very much aligned in that value, Danny. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And then just a giant thank you for all of the time and the information that you provided to the Geek Out community and to us. It's been amazing. So thank you so much.
Just
yeah, exactly.
Do the big thing is like, just start, do it. Do something. And I guess if people are like, how do I get off the start line with this? Make a dirty, ugly funnel, give something away, and talk to people on live streams until you get to a point where you can afford to. Do you even need to have all these fancy things going on? I don't know, because 75% conversion rate in an ugly funnel, or like I said, 2% in a beautiful funnel, go figure. But you've got to kind of do your own testing and your own research. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
And I would say to sum up this whole thing here in a couple of words is, people love free stuff. There you go. So you dangle the right free stuff in front of it, and they will definitely give you a real email address and join your list because, again, they're interested in it. So it's a good quality lead at that point, too. So early on in this recording, I dropped DannyWalsh.live into the comments. I will also drop that into the YouTube and all that once we get done here. I hope that is the right link, right? DannyWalsh.live.
It's just DannyWalsh.live. And you can go on there, and there's literally all like 10 of my previous recordings. There's my ClickFunnels interviews. There's the Funnel Hacker TV. I'm on some this. There's crazy podcasts I'm doing. It's like that's it. It's all on a page, and you don't even need to opt in to get any of that stuff. So
and who knows? This video might end up there too. We don't know.
Yeah, I'll put it on there, and it's all about, like I said, sharing and keeping the thing moving. Check out the stuff that's happening in the ClickFunnels group as well, and I'll see you guys very soon, no doubt.
Alrighty, thank you, Danny, for everything today, and then we are out of here, and I will jump over really quickly, if anybody's on here, to the open office hours in about 5 minutes. So we are out.
Thanks, guys.